Good evening and a very warm welcome to your English news package with radio and television for the hour. Making headlines, His Majesty King Tupou VI to attend the worldwide 27th Conference of the Parties of the UNFCCC known as COP27. Today launched the Justice Week for 2022 and Prime Minister marks the groundbreaking ceremony of Tonga College's new boarding houses and their kitchen during the school's 140th anniversary celebration over the weekend. Now for the stories in details. His Majesty King Tupou VI will attend the worldwide United Nations Climate Change Conference known as COP27, where he will present Tonga's national statement on climate change. This meeting will take place in Egypt to begin this Sunday until the 18th of next month. Mark Ake with the latest.
The Prime Minister, Honorable Nuku'alofa, will also attend COP27 and says this will be a major event because it brings together more than 2,000 people to discuss the important issues of climate change. He added that key issues are expected to be debated at COP27 and that Tonga has emphasized the critical imperative of securing net zero emission target by 2050 to limit temperature increases to 1.5 degrees by the end of the century. The dangerous effects of climate change continue to threaten Tonga's environment as well as the livelihoods and future existence of its people. Nuku'alofa said that anything beyond the 1.5 Celsius threshold would spell absolute catastrophe for the Pacific, including Tonga. Climate change will worsen if nothing is done, and the effects could become irreversible, causing existential ramifications for the Pacific. Honorable Nuku'alofa said the effects of climate change continue to threaten the environment, land, ocean, and marine resources upon which the livelihood and existence of the people of Tonga depend on. However, Tonga's delegation is prepared to attend COP27 in Egypt.
The Chief Magistrate of the Magistrate Court, Fakahau launched the Justice Week for 2022 today. The theme for this year's Justice Week is to strive for highest standard of service. Lokotui said that this is what staff of the Ministry of Justice hope for, which is to walk with God as written in Tonga's coat of arms. In this year's Justice Week, the Ministry has promised to use electronic communications with media for communication, such as talkback shows, discussions, interviews, to provide information about the Ministry's services. This includes all courts in Tonga, like the Bailiff Office, Office of the Registrar General here in Tongatapu, and Vava'u, to name a few. The Ministry of Prisons is also included here in completing their roles. It is important to gain the trust of the public in the courts and the protection by the law, but the most important thing is for people to understand our services to them. Lokotui also emphasized that staff of the ministry promised to strive for excellence when delivering their services to the public, with the hopes of gaining public support that will in turn preserve or sustain their services in commemorating Justice Week for 2022. The ex-students, together with current students of Tonga College Atere, were excited to witness the groundbreaking ceremony to renew their boarding houses and kitchen during Tonga College's 140th anniversary marked by the Prime Minister, who is also the Minister of Education and Training, Honorable Nuku'alofa, on Saturday.
The college's celebration on Saturday started with a flag-raising ceremony by the head prefect, Mafi Tokimanamo'ui, followed by a Thanksgiving prayer service at the Lopaukamea Hall, followed by the groundbreaking ceremony for the new boarding houses and kitchen. The Prime Minister, Honorable Nuku'alofa, said the hope of renewing the college's boarding houses is to give students enough time for their studies and to reduce the number of dropouts, especially to help those who live far away from the school. The new boarding houses also aim to be a suitable and safe environment for students and will also be used by the government as an evacuation center in times of natural disaster. Nuku'alofa said that the Ministry of Education and the government are doing their best to improve the syllabus and that the school will no longer have a principal but instead a deputy CEO. This is the first time for the college's boarding houses to be renewed since it was first built in 1942, with 6 houses damaged and no longer safe to use. Efforts to renew the houses took some time due to financial constraints. This project is worth $2 million and was funded by the World Bank in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and the government. The director of the Finance Division of the Education Ministry, Manu Akawola, says the boarding houses were designed and equipped to withstand natural disasters. The houses, made out of concrete, can host up to 60 to 70 students. Each house will have its own bathroom. Meanwhile, the secretary of Tonga College's ex-students, Tevita Tuinauvai Jr., says the construction of the new kitchen is worth approximately 1 million paanga and was designed by Quality Design Limited, which is owned by one of their ex-students. Honorable Hokal Meriku says they hope that this project will be completed by the same time next year, as the college's 140th anniversary will be formally celebrated then. However, the former principal of Tonga College, Professor Ana Taufe'elungaki, Minister of Trade and Economic Development, Dr. William Latu, CEO for Education, Dr. Tangina Steen, representative from the World Bank, Natalia Latu, and many guests were present at the events on Saturday.
The Cabinet has approved that every Tongan flag will be half-masted this Wednesday to convey special respect during the state funeral of the late Minister of Fisheries and Tongatapu 8 People's Representative to Parliament, Honorable Semisi Tawelang Fakahau. This was confirmed by the Honorable Prime Minister Wagawa Meriku during a press conference last Friday. Honorable Wagawa Meriku said the state funeral of Honorable Fakahau will be held this Wednesday. Honorable Semisi Tawelang Fakahau died early Thursday morning on the 27th of this month at the age of 74. Fakahau made his way into Parliament in 2014 and became the Minister of Agriculture, Food and Forestry for many years before becoming the Minister of Fisheries. He also served as a member in different committees within Parliament, including the Standing Committee on Social Services, Standing Committee on Foreign Affairs and Standing Committee on Agriculture and Fisheries.
The Prime Minister, Hokal Meriku, said the state funeral of Honorable Fakahau will be held this Wednesday. Fakahau died early Thursday morning on the 27th of this month at the age of 74. Last week, the Prime Minister, Honorable Hokal Meriku, on behalf of the government, expressed his condolences in the passing of one of his cabinet ministers. He added that Fakahau's death is a great loss to the government, as he was a man who strived towards elevating the lives of those who make a living out at sea. Fakahau made his way into Parliament in 2014 and became the Minister of Agriculture, Food and Forestry for many years before becoming the Minister of Fisheries. He also served as a member in different committees within Parliament, including the Standing Committee on Social Services, Foreign Affairs, and Agriculture and Fisheries.
The by-election for People's Representative of Tongatapu 4, Tongatapu 6 and Tongatapu 7 will be held this Thursday. Mark Ake again tells you more.
All campaign programs must come to a halt 24 hours before the date of election, according to the Electoral Act. The Electoral Act also states that every candidate running for the election must not spend more than 2,000 paanga on their campaign. This by-election is historical, as 3 women are contesting for the vacant parliamentary seats in Tongatapu 6 and 7, and they are the wives of their constituency's former representatives. Taf Moyaki of Tongatapu 4, Puastei of Tongatapu 6, and Sione Sengsta Saulala of Tongatapu 7 were unseated earlier this year after the elections were deemed void in the Supreme Court due to bribery convictions. Meanwhile, a by-election for Tongatapu 8 is yet to be confirmed after the representative, the late Minister of Fisheries, Semisi Fakahau, passed away last week.
And the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Fekita Malo Otogamanu, attended the 5th Korea-Pacific Islands Foreign Ministers meeting last week at Busan, Republic of Korea. This meeting was held on the 25th until the 28th of this month, with 14 Pacific Island countries held under the Vision for the Resilient Blue Pacific. The Korean Minister of Foreign Affairs, His Excellency Park Chin, hosted Tonga's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Fekita Malo Otogamanu, and Pacific counterparts to a welcome dinner reception upon their arrival in Busan last Tuesday, ahead of the 5th Korean Pacific Islands Foreign Ministers meeting on Wednesday. The Honourable Minister was accompanied to the meeting by Ministry of Foreign Affairs senior officials, Her Serene Highness Princess Kalaniwalo, the Lady Fotofili, and Elsie Fukafuka. The fifth Korean Pacific Islands countries foreign ministers meeting convenes in Busan and is chaired by the Korean Foreign Minister, His Excellency Park Chin. Tonga became the first Pacific Island country to establish diplomatic relations with the Republic of Korea on the 15th of September 1970, a testament to the strong and long-standing relations between the two countries. 2022 marks the 52nd anniversary of Tonga's engagement with the Republic of Korea. This fifth meeting of Pacific foreign ministers with their Korean counterpart focuses on strategic discussions on Tonga's national and regional priorities, including on climate change, disasters and environment and ocean and maritime affairs. The forthcoming meeting is expected to serve as an opportunity for Korea to strengthen its role as a global pivotal state and further deepen the network for cooperation with the Pacific Island countries. The Honourable Minister for Foreign Affairs traveled onward to Seoul and joined in a bilateral meetings with the President of the Republic of Korea and her counterpart, the Korean Foreign Minister. Honorable Fekita Malo Utogamano and Pacific heads of a delegation toured the Korea Institute of Ocean Science and Technology, or KIOST, a research center aiming to pursue innovative and creative developments in basic and applied marine science and technology. The delegates also visited the Busan Northport Redevelopment Project Exhibition Hall to witness Korea's progress of its state-of-the-art innovation buildings designed to convert the port into a world-class brand in modern tourism and possibly the venue for the World Expo 2030. That's our local news with radio and television Tonga News for the hour with And that concludes the tonight's English news package. But before we part, here's one final look at tonight's top stories. His Majesty King Tubal VI to attend the worldwide 27th Conference of the Parties of the UNFCCC, known as COP27. Today launched the Justice Week for 2022, and Prime Minister marks the groundbreaking ceremony of Tonga College's new boarding houses and their kitchen during the school's 140th anniversary celebration over the weekend. And that's it for tonight. Thank you for your company. I'm Ali Situpo. Have a blessed evening.